Welcome back. It is time for Media Watch. I'm joined by James Creed, and we're going to have a look at all that is trending and making headlines on the internet. We're going to begin with those obscure states, James, who voted against the Palestinian bid for observer status, Palau, and a few others. What on earth is being said about them on social media?
Well, people are somewhat bemused, Melissa, because you don't really hear about these states most of the time. They
don't often make headlines.
They're not big hitters. They're not UN Security Council permanent members, etc. Palau, you've got Palau, Micronesia, Nauru and Marshall Islands. They were 4 of the 9 states that voted against this bid. Let's take a look at a couple of tweets on this. 4 countries that voted against Palestine's bid face annihilation due to climate change. And in fact, that's true. 4 of those 4 islands are heavily affected by rising sea levels. So I suppose some people who are in favour of the Palestinian bid, perhaps being a little bit ironic about that. I saw quite a few comments about that saying, well, you know, if there's another vote in a few years' time, maybe we won't have to worry about it too much. Now, others, including our colleague Douglas Herbert, pointed out that Palau, one of the last times we would have remembered hearing about Palau was in the 2004 film by Michael Moore, Fahrenheit 9/11. I think we have some pictures of that where the coalition of the willing was mentioned, those states that rolled in behind the US for the war in Iraq. And indeed, Palau, you can see there it was one of the first mentioned states in that list that Michael Moore made about the coalition of the willing. So there you go, I suppose.
So they've been backing the United States for a number of years now, is the point.
They tend to. They're sort of under that umbrella of influence, I think.
It's the mind boggles as one searches for a link between climate change and the Palestinian bid, but there you are.
It's all in there.
We're going to move to Nicolas Sarkozy and his failed attempts to resolve the leadership battle in the UMP, this extraordinary saga we've been talking so much about these days.
That's right. Day 12 of the standoff. It's pretty extraordinary stuff. And this is Le Figaro magazine, quite a pro-UMP magazine, pro-Sarkozy often as well. Un homme en colère, an angry man. Now, that is their weekend edition of the magazine. Now, the strange thing there, Melissa, is they actually went to press with this. Let's get a close-up on this. Le patron, c'est lui. So they actually, as they say, bouclé, they say in French, earlier than the news as it was evolving, because in fact they thought that he was going to resolve today this long-standing issue between Jean-François Copé and François Fillon, and he's the boss, he the boss. That was going to be the headline, right? Because, you know, these two guys have been fighting it out now for 12 days, almost 2 weeks, and in fact, no, he didn't manage to do that, so at the very last minute they had to change.
And what remained was his anger, which was good enough for the front page.
Absolutely, so I suppose that if that's not an illustration of the confusion, then I don't know what is. I think that sums up the mess.
I think that sums it up perfectly. Lots of reaction, of course, as well, James, the news that DSK, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, may have resolved his court case with Nafissatou Diallo. There are those who say that it has been settled. His lawyers say it is to be settled, perhaps in the next few days.
So a lot of reaction. That was one of the top trending topics on French Twitter today, Melissa. A lot of people talking about it, and of course perhaps being a bit drawing conclusions that were perhaps a bit hasty. This one means DSK about to conclude a financial arrangement with Nafissatou. Could he be a candidate for the local elections in 2017 or even in 2014? Some people are wondering, could this signal the end of the drama and perhaps a return down the road to politics? I think maybe that's a bit early to be
rather like the Sarkozy story, we love political comebacks in France, don't we? There's simply no end.
2017 looks like it could be an exciting year if we're all still in France. Jean Quatremer, the Brussels correspondent for Libération, for him, this could signify that perhaps something did happen at the Sofitel. He's saying, look, 6 million, if that's the figure that was being bandied around in dollars, which is being denied by DSK's lawyers. He's saying, well, that's rather expensive for nothing. Now, others would say that's just how the US legal system works. And others saying, well, O.J. Simpson, 35 million. Kobe Bryant, who was a basketball player, 10 million. So perhaps 6 million pales in certain league tables of expensive payouts.
American settlements. Now, Barack Obama, James, and Mitt Romney have been having lunch, and internet users having fun at their expense.
That's right. It was a meme online. This is the photo of the meeting between them, and you can see actually that Romney is on front of the presidential desk. It almost looks like he's welcoming Romney or Obama the other way around. And there was a mystery guy in the background as well. I think we have a little look at him. It's just some weird person in the lurking that people were curious about, thinking it could signify something. I don't know what.
We still haven't got to the bottom of it, though. Perhaps we will later. Thank you very much indeed, James Creed.